Well, at least you're getting paid for kind of an easy day.
Exactly. It's $8, and now I don't have to work this Friday, the 6th, so I can either get like an early Suicide Squad in if I want, or just have the day off to myself or what have you. We're going camping the week after that, so just like more time to prep would be nice too. So overall, it's it is what it is.
Yes.
That's my birthday.
Nice.
Your birthday.
You guys going to see Suicide Squad?
Friday.
I'll be in Tennessee.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
So I have no idea what I'm going to be doing for my birthday.
I'll be here living the bachelor life. Very exciting bachelor life. Working overtime and then probably just playing some video games. Yeah. Yeah, we'll do stuff when she gets back.
You finished Doom yet?
No, I haven't even touched it in like a few weeks. Just zero time. Absolutely zero time for games. So that's probably what I'll do while she's away. It's not that Meg takes me away from video games. It's just that while we're both here and I get off work, it's like that's the opportunity to like watch shows and movies, and that's
it's
what
okay, Tony. If you want to
nonstop.
say I take you away from video games, that's fine.
My horrible wife
just sleep with one eye open tonight.
is depriving me of my sweet gaming life.
Hey Tony, can you
One
watch
eye open.
Keeping your pillow tight.
I didn't know the Kool-Aid Man was here.
Oh yeah.
Well, I guess we can get started if you guys are ready.
Sure.
Whenever you are, sir.
With that, welcome to the Getting Off Topic podcast, everybody. So that wasn't really after we griped about our working from on Sundays, whatever. We're all exhausted. Hey, everybody! Welcome to the Getting Off Topic podcast.
Hello.
Shitty DJ sounds. The Getting Off Topic with Tony and Megatron and the Toddinator
and Andrew.
That one guy no one cares about.
Andrew, I can't think of a nickname. The shitty jock DJ with like jock radio DJ name for it.
And the Hot Drew.
The Drew.
The Drew.
The Drew.
Okay.
Terrific.
The Drew. It honestly, you could say anything as long as you do use that voice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here we are.
Yeah.
The A dude.
So here we are, very energetic 30-somethings, having worked all day and all week, and now here to talk of our geek shenanigans. What have you guys been up to this week? Todd, are you playing anything new? Watching anything new? What are you doing?
I picked up The Ascent, but I haven't played it yet. The Ascent is a cyberpunky ARPG, kind of like in the Diablo vein, but cyberpunky with guns and shooting and that kind of stuff.
Cool.
I heard good things.
Yeah, looks beautiful, amazing, awesome, good cyberpunk aesthetic, but just haven't played it yet.
Hey Todd.
What's up?
Would you say it's cyberpunk?
Yes.
Okay.
It's cyberpunk.
Is it cyberpunk?
Does it have cyberpunk elements?
Oh, yeah.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Just a sprinkle of cyberpunk.
And you've also been, I know you've been binging your new favorite procedural show because you keep yelling at me and Meg for getting you hooked on that show.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of 911. That's what I did on Friday because I did absolutely nothing at work. So I watched 911 all damn day.
Told you it's good. I can't believe you went through all 4 seasons like that quick.
In like a week?
Yeah, pretty much.
Days. Yeah.
Yeah, about a week and a half, I'd say.
So it sounds like you really hated the show.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I got nothing else. I'm sitting in front of my computer doing literally nothing, so the TV is on to the side. So, and it's I had a couple of I have an issue with certain injuries, certain types of injuries, like puncture wounds and stuff. And this show has a lot of fucking puncture wounds.
Yeah.
And I call it my reflection watching. So what I do is I'm literally sitting at my desk, and then to the side I have the TV to my left side, and then to the right side I have one of my glass display cases. And anytime a puncture wound comes up on the screen, I have to look away, and then I'll watch it in the reflection off of my glass case.
Your action figures to keep you safe.
Yes.
Does that like
Yes.
water it down a little bit so it's not as visceral, it's not as real, it's the glass reflection?
Yeah, it's the glass. I can't exactly see what's going on. I can't see the blood gushing from the pipe that's coming out of the dude's chest.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good ones. Me and Meg have been watching the show since it started like 4 years ago. And so Todd's flying through them now and yelling at us to like, damn it, Tony, I'm seeing a guy's like bones stick out of his leg. And they're in this like hoarder's house. And I'm like, oh yeah, I vaguely remember that. And then you crying over like, oh, the poor guy, he was almost with Jennifer Love Hewitt and it gets taken away from him. And I'm like, I'm sitting here trying not to spoil anything in later seasons. Yeah, it's a good one. Like, as much as we have laughed over the years at like people like Meg's mom who watches like the entire litany of NCIS and CSIs and every doctor, investigator, criminal lawyer, they're always like multi-hyphenates somehow. Like they're like, and they got 911 is kind of like guilty of that too, where the firefighters go a little beyond their job. Like they're halfway like criminal investigators at some point, but then eventually the police step in. But all those nonsensical shows. But anyway, but that one's good. I like that one. It gives our stamp of approval. But.
And of all the deaths on the show, like all of the heinous injuries and the deaths, and nothing got me more than the one time they killed a fucking horse for no reason. Like it was a Halloween episode. There was a fire breather, and then the fire breather caught a clown on fire, and then that spooked the police horse, and the police horse knocked its rider and ran off, and then got got hit by a car in traffic or something.
Oh,
they had to put it down. Like I had no problem with any of the other deaths in the show.
Well,
and
see,
then
I don't
suddenly
remember
they
that
kill a
at
horse.
all. I don't remember that at all. So
Yeah.
it probably was so scarred from that. I
Blocked it
decided to
out.
block it out.
Yeah.
It's always the animals, man. Kill as many people as you want, but if you hurt that dog,
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Dogs
turning this off.
gotta live. Yeah. How about you, Andrew? What are you ingesting content-wise this week?
Still playing Destiny.
Still playing Destiny, finishing up the whatchamacallit of Heroes, the Festival of Heroes. I forget exactly, but it's in the last week. I was going to try to grind out my Titans Celebration armor. I might still try to do that tomorrow. I'm kind of whatever about it, so we'll see. I just started watching Centaur World. Have you guys heard about that on Netflix with the girls? It looks amazing, and the first couple episodes were pretty true to that. So it starts off, hopefully not too many spoilers here, but there's this young girl warrior in combat against these evil, like orcish looking guys trying to stop her and steal an amulet she's wearing. There's a big battle ensues. She's thrown from her horse. The amulet gets knocked off. Her and her horse try to go get it. They fall off a cliff, and before the horse lands, she kind of passes out and wakes up with a 9-foot tall half man, half giraffe, a feminine alpaca. And it goes on. I think there's a flamingo person, a bird centaur. It gets.
So do they
better.
just throw a
Bird
bunch
person.
of animals into a jar, and like every week they just pull random combinations out and say that's going to be a new character?
Kind of. I mean, well, just think of any animal and then put like a human torso on it and the animal head back on, and you
So-
got the characters of the show. And the animation is awesome. The story is like, the voice acting's on point. So if you get a chance on Netflix, I mean, like I think it's obviously more geared towards children, but like it like really hit it for me. I was dying. Like the animation is very reminiscent of like some Adventure Time-ish sort of animation,
Okay.
which kind of got me as well. So
Well,
it looks cool. Yeah.
Centaur
and then-
World.
Getting re-caught up on MasterChef. I don't know if any of you guys watch that. It's like me and my wife's favorite cooking show.
I used to watch it way back in the day.
Yeah, they're on like season 11, I believe. So there's like a ton of them, but like that's our go-to every year, and so I'm glad we could watch again this year.
Mine was always Hell's Kitchen. I'll eventually catch
I
back
watched
up
a
on
ton
that.
of Hell's Kitchen.
Oh.
I always like Top Chef.
There's so many good ones. Yeah, I watched a bunch. I watched like a little bit of everything, honestly. But this is the one that I've watched consistently over this past like over a decade now.
There's
then,
one. There's
else?
a cooking show I watch every year, and it's Worst Cooks of America.
Worst cooks, yeah.
Shannon has been binging that. Like my wife just watched, I think like 6 seasons in a row, like nonstop, just grinding them out. So
Just
So
people
good.
failing miserably in the kitchen.
Well, the production of that show is hilarious because they just make fun of everything. It's great.
it's good.
And then
Like-
it's all like the Food Network like superstar personalities. So you've got I never remember her name, the crazy spiky hair.
Amber.
Okay, yeah, and she's just like you can see like the blood vessels about to burst in her brain every time somebody does something stupid. She's like, God, like why am I still here doing
Because she loves
this
it.
to myself? Yeah, she loves
loves it.
to hate on people.
I'm trying to think. I mean, what other shows I watch, like Dave, I'm getting through that season. I'm not quite liking it as much as the first season, but still pretty good.
Dave?
Dave, yeah. So it follows the rap. They're like the Lil Dicky is a rapper who has kind of transferred into this. And the first season, it started off a little slower, but by the end, like I loved it. That last episode, I've watched like 100 times. It's so good. And so I came in like hoping for a lot for the second season, and it's been all right. So we'll see how if it can streamline itself a little better, but otherwise, like I'm still enjoying it.
Yeah, I remembered seeing the promos for that, but I haven't checked it out yet.
Yeah.
I've been binging Never Have I Ever.
Oh yeah,
which I know Shannon finished watching finally because I told her to finish watching it.
that was the Mindy Kaling produced one.
And I swear I was laughing the entire fucking time I was watching that show.
Meg was cackling like every few seconds.
Remake fashion.
Yeah, it was really I was surprised at how funny it was going to be. And I feel like some of the acting was kind of subpar because a lot of it's just some unknown actors that are kids that are kind of breaking into the acting game. But like the storytelling was just so well done. And I really liked the girl's relationship with her father, and the show revolves around her losing her dad. So it was like very personal to me because I lost my dad at a young age. So there's a lot of very touching moments and I'm not one to cry when I watch TV shows or movies, but I got a little choked up in certain parts of it. And so it was really, really
very
well done.
good family heartwarming type show, and also funny as hell. I mean, I was working while Meg was binging this, so I was only like hearing it most of the time, but I was like, damn, that is a good show.
I tried watching an episode with Shannon. I was like, oh wait, so what is she doing then? She's like, it's a long story. So I knew like I shouldn't ask any questions. Maybe one day I'll watch it. Which brings up, have you guys ever seen Sex Education?
Yes.
Meg loves that. I still haven't started it. I need to binge that to catch
They're
up.
coming out with the new season soon.
Yeah, season 3
before it or something.
Yeah. Now, Meg got burned a few times, falling in love with a few Netflix shows, and then she's like, "God damn it!" Like
They
after,
cancel
yeah, she found out like season 2 never was going to be happening or whatever. So, did you confirm if Never Have I Ever is still ongoing?
There is no official release date for a season 3 because season 2 literally just aired last month.
Oh, okay.
So it's too soon to really confirm anything, but a lot of people are speculating that they are for sure going to come out with a third season because it's doing so well.
Cool. We kind of talked about at book club a few nights ago. Meg and I watched The Next Fear Street, the second one out of the 3. It's 1976, 78, 74. Oh, okay. Yeah. With
compared to the first one.
Not as good.
It's fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the first one was a little better. Maybe it was just that was the one for our era of nostalgia, I guess. I don't know. Maybe that gave it a slight better edge. Or maybe it's just that the middle part of the story drags a little bit. Like it felt fairly predictable. I mean, the first one kind of was too, but I would say more so the second one. I mean, if anything, I guess as a tribute to 70s slashers, it feels like a very simple 70s slasher. But then they inject the bit of like Fear Street lore in there with the they
witch?
explain more about the witch, yeah, and how she's being resurrected or whatever. Meg pointed out, I don't know if they ever explained or if they're going to in the part 3, like what's the time frame? Like does like an egg timer go off every like 10, 15, 20 years or something, and the witch is like, oh, time to kill again? Or is it just like random?
Have you guys watched
Time.
them at all?
I saw the first one, and like
yeah.
I'm tempted to go back and watch the second and third just to finish the trilogy, but that's about it.
What about you, Todd?
I watched the first one. I haven't watched the second or third one
Okay,
yet.
so my
okay.
question for the show in terms of the rules, I guess you wouldn't really be able to help break it down because it's only really shown in the second movie. So yeah, if I ask a question, it's not going to mean anything to you guys.
Oh well, yeah. But I mean, it's okay. I think we said it in so many words a few nights ago, and we met for book club. These movies feel kind of like horror light, like they're.
I mean, they're R.L. Stein, so yeah.
Yeah.
R.L. Stein's YA
Yeah. So
area. So
yeah, if you're like a typical like horror movie fan, then you'll probably feel like, oh, these feel a bit bland, a bit mild, but I mean, they're still enjoyable, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there was, I think, even a book series of Fear Street. So, I mean, if you know about that, you got to kind of take it with a grain of salt. Like, okay, this is going to be a movie version of those, like you said, like YA novels. It's not, you know,
Yeah.
Stephen King. It's watered down. And
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm most
Like-
excited about the third film.
Yeah, because that's where they go back to 1600s.
Mhm.
Yeah.
the origins could be good. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. Yeah. And that's it. It's not bad. It's very good and well
It's
produced.
just
and everything.
underwhelming compared to what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah. 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 Anyway. What else do we? I think that's pretty much. Oh, we've been watching that Netflix series, The Movies That Made Us. They did. I think this is only season 2 now. But
Sure.
they only come out with like 4 episodes per season. They're like these mini documentaries, like a good hour long for each movie. And honestly, they're movies. Most of them are like movies that I've already seen 1,000 documentaries on, or I've seen 100 times. So it's like I was like, am I really going to learn anything here? But I actually do. They're quite enjoyable. The first one for this season is Back to the Future, just the first movie. And so they were harping a lot on. They're focusing a lot on all the way from the very, very beginning, like the writer the writer and director having going to film school together and going to college, and then going off to make their own stuff, where everybody in film school back then was all like into the art house European French stuff, and they just wanted to make like explodey fun action adventure movies, so hence Back to the Future. But like in the beginning, the early iterations of the script, like the time machine was a refrigerator, and instead of having to like harness the power of lightning from the thunderstorm or whatever and get the DeLorean back in the future, it was a refrigerator, and they were just going to drop a nuke from like one of those like 1950s nuclear test sites in the middle of the desert, whatever.
So that's where Indiana Jones got the idea.
Yeah,
Right?
they actually did insert a clip of the exploded fridge from Crystal Skull. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's just weird. It's crazy to see how when they break it down, all these little things that could have gone so wrong, or it could have been way different, and it just wouldn't have been that memorable, or like a lot of things where the movie probably would have fell apart. Like, and then the happy accidents. Like originally, the creators, they wanted Michael J. Fox from the get-go, but he was busy with Family Ties on TV, and so the whatever executive, the movie studio executive, was adamant to get Eric Stoltz. And so they filmed like 6 weeks of footage with 6 weeks they were filming with Eric Stoltz, and he was like acting for an entirely different movie. Like he was playing it like super straight and serious, like it was a dramatic piece, like it was some tragic story or something. And they're like, this is not fucking working at all. This is horrible. They had to throw out all the footage. Anyway, long story short, of course, eventually they get to Michael J. Fox, but it's just nuts to hear those stories about how something that's like such a perfect classic, like it just barely scraped by and it almost didn't happen, and because of all these different things along the way. But anyway, it's cool. There's that one. We just watched Pretty Woman, the one on Pretty Woman last night. That's episode 2, and I think the next one is the first Jurassic Park.
I think we watched one. I forget if it was on there, but about Nightmare Before Christmas. That was really interesting. That showed the ins and outs of it being made, and like how there's this common misconception that like Tim Burton did everything when he like it's loosely based off one of his ideas, and that's about it. He had some input in the direction of like the art style, but otherwise, you know, every like it was directed by Henry Selick, I believe, and
Henry Selick,
yeah, like completely different. Like just really, really changed my perception of it. So it was cool.
Then he went on. Selnick went on to do James of the Giant Peach, and then Coraline.
Oh, did you do Coraline? That's awesome, because I think I like Coraline more than James and the Giant Peach.
I like the opposite. I prefer James and the Giant Peach over Coraline. I really didn't care for Coraline.
I enjoyed it. It's been so long since James and the Giant Peach. I have to rewatch it again, but I remember it being fun. I remember Susan Sarandon voicing a sexy spider, and that was very confusing at a young age. I mean, if a
why
spider,
am I attracted to this spider?
If a claymation spider came around and started talking with Susan Sarandon's voice, I
imagine what she can do with all those hands. You know.
Oh boy. Did everybody here see Black Widow yet?
Yes.
I have not.
Oh, you have not. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, my wife kind of already told me about it and spoiled it. So if you guys want to talk about it, it's cool.
Oh, okay. We don't have to spoil it too much. I mean, it definitely, at least me and Meg's opinion, was better than we expected it to be. Like, we had a really good time.
My bar was real low for this movie, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It definitely was a Marvel movie.
Todd was not fond of it.
Oh no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was fine, but I think it should have come out 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Like not even the I'm not even joking about the delay. I'm saying they should have made this movie 5 years ago.
Oh yeah, it kind of maybe it would have fit better if they released it chronologically, which is like right after Civil War. But then at the same time, Yelena's story, you know, it kicks her off for the stories to come, because in fact that was a piece of news that I had. I mean, you can pretty much assume from the very end of the movie, the end credits scene, essentially, Yelena, who you'll know when you see the movie, Andrew, another of the Black Widows, essentially, who went through the same like captivity and training that Scarlett Johansson's character did, Natasha did.
Florence Pugh, right?
Florence Pugh.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember what else I've seen. Oh, she was in
Midsummer.
Not Hereditary. Midsummer. Yeah. She really steals the movie. Like, I mean, I give it her interactions with Scarlett Johansson, but I mean, so this is mild spoilers for the very beginning of the film. You see they're from as a very young age, as little girls, they're like inducted into this like Russian spy program, like Russians posing as Americans, and until they get called back for more training and crap, whatever. But for a time, they were basically raised as sisters. So they're not really biologically related, but they're raised as sisters. And so even when they meet up again later in life, they have that like bickering sibling bond, and it's great. Like every scene, she's like giving Natasha shit like every step of the way, and they're like kind of like one-upping each other with like when they have to escape somewhere or do a thing, whatever. But that's definitely where a lot of the fun comes in. David Harbour, awesome. And
Rachel Weisz.
Rachel Weisz, thank you. Yeah.
So hot.
Which, yeah, as the credits are rolling, Meg's like, yeah, it was better than expected. Like, and it's always nice to be reminded every few years how hot Rachel Weisz is. It's like, I haven't forgotten, but it's nice to be reminded.
I think after Enemy at the Gates with that one scene like that, she was a celebrity crush of mine for a long time. So.
Yeah.
The Mummy.
Mm-hmm.
The Mummy.
Yeah,
Yep.
for sure, the Mummy.
She is 51 now and still looking fantastic. Yeah.
It's amazing what celebrity can do for you. Money and time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that Marvel workout routines.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for
That
sure.
Disney money, as Tony so eloquently put it on a book club.
That Disney money.
Yeah, the one thing that I really appreciated about the film, though, and I don't know if it was intentional or not, but whenever the sister, I'm sorry, what was her character's name?
Yelena.
Yelena. Whenever she was done fighting, she was winded. And whenever she did like any sort of power moves or whatever you fucking want to call them, she was always like kind of leaning against something or breathing heavy. And it's just like, I really appreciated that because it made it more real versus having to think about it. I was like, you know, in all of the superhero films, like as soon as the battle is over, everybody like walks away without having to be out of breath or just keep moving on.
Yeah.
And so here she is kind of sitting and huffing, and I'm like, fuck yeah, like you might be winded from that shit.
That's a real person. Yeah.
Yeah, not only that, but she's like literally the only non-powered person on the team. Even Hawkeye, like he has like supervision and super hearing. Like she has literally no powers other than training.
Mm.
Yeah.
So like she's the closest to a normal human being on the team.
Yeah,
I also oh sorry.
Oh no, I was just kind of going on with that. It was really good direction and good choreography with this film. Like when they first meet up, Natasha and Yelena, as you know, their current ages, you know, in present day, they haven't seen each other in ages, so they don't know if they can even trust each other. And just like this crazy fucking John Wick fight between them ensues. And of course they're equally matched, so it's hilarious because like, I steal your gun, but they're beating the shit out of each other. And it was just really cool to see like the more grounded. It's funny because we kind of said the reverse stuff when we were going over our reviews of like all of the Marvel TV shows so far, the Disney Plus shows, where it's like we're at least me and Todd were saying we really appreciate the more fantastical stuff like Loki and WandaVision, and Falcon and the Winter Soldier was fine, but we were a little more bored with it. I was kind of expecting that lull again with Black Widow, like, oh, this isn't the wild spacey fantasy stuff. It's just going to be like low-key espionage, whatever. But because of that really good, like grounded choreography and photography of the fight scenes and everything, it worked really well. It had that sort of visceral John Wick sort of feel to it.
Another thing I really appreciated about it with Elena's character was that they didn't like over sexualize her as well. There was a scene where both her and Natasha are wearing the exact same outfit, the white suits, and hers actually fits her a little baggier than the skin tight, you know, like body shaped form. And I was like, I really like that they're putting a normal outfit on a normal person. You know?
No, I think
I love that she shit on Scarlett's poses.
Yes.
Every chance she got.
The superhero like fall, like whenever she drops out of an air vent or something, and it's like whatever. Why you do this? Why you do the hair flip? It's fantastic.
I really, really liked it for those reasons.
Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. And you will be happy, Meg, because if you didn't give a shit about the Hawkeye show, she will be back in the Hawkeye TV show.
Well, fuck. Now I gotta watch it.
Because and again, spoilers here, in the final scenes, or the final scene, end credits scene, it fast forwards to present day, where, you know, post Endgame, Natasha is gone, and Yelena is there visiting her grave, and we get reintroduced to, this was going to be the introduction of Julia Louis-Dreyfus in the MCU, character of Val. because this movie was supposed to come out a year ago before Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So that became her introduction into the MCU. And here she just gets a small little cameo in that final scene. And we see Yelena is now working for her, I guess, accepting missions from her. And she basically pins it on Hawkeye, on Clint Barton, like, hey, here's the guy responsible why your sister's in the grave. And so she's basically coaxing her to go after him for whatever reasons. You know, she's playing her game of political chess or whatever. But yeah, so okay.
That character is what, like Lady Hydra, correct? I forget exactly what I read about Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character.
She has been in the past, Lady Hydra. She's the opposite of Samuel L. Jackson, basically.
Okay.
Speaking of that Hawkeye show, actually, that was another headline. I think it was Entertainment Weekly had a little blurb about it this past week with a first look sort of thing. There's just a quick picture of Jeremy Renner as Barton and Haley Stanfield, yeah, as Kate Bishop, and it looks like they're in some sort of training place, and she's got the big ass bow in her hand and everything, and they're just chatting. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be fun. Vera Farmiga is also confirmed in the show as Kate Bishop's mom, and oh yeah, we already said Florence Pugh will be back as Yelena. And then I think we talked last week about those wild rumors about Kingpin, which would tie into Spider-Man No Way Home, but that's still in the, that's take it with a huge grain of salt.
That's still fan casting, fangasming, all that good stuff.
Take it with a Vincent D'Onofrio sized grain of salt.
True to the off-topic title of this podcast. So if you guys ever want, I mean, I don't want to say a laugh per se, but something that I was introduced to recently is that Jeremy Renner is actually, I don't know, a part-time musician with not only a band, but music videos and the whole 9 yards. So if you get a chance to look up these, I highly encourage you to do so, just for like a one-time watch at least, to kind of see what he's working with there.
Is it
not much
unintentional laughs there?
I mean, it seems like it's very sincere. And I mean, I can't say that I haven't heard worse, because I have, but it's not necessarily my go-to music. But yeah, it's he stars in at least one video I saw as well. So yeah, it's an interesting take on this multi-talented professional we have in the MCU here.
Is it it's just kind of a stigma that we do, or it seems like a lot of times musicians will shift over to acting, and a lot of times we accept that now. Like, a lot of rappers shift over and hip hop artists shift over to acting, and some of them became really good actors, and we kind of know them now as actors. But it seems like when actors go the other way, they get shit on a bit more, or maybe
it never works.
I think that's the nature of the craft, because like if you can sing, or like, if you're musical, you are musical, whether you're an actor or not. Well, if you're musical, acting is something that can be, built up and increased and taught and learned and stuff like that. But like my voice, I mean, maybe if I dedicated like years of my life and that's all I did with singing, I might be able to, but like, I mean,
yeah, and if you're a stage performer in general, there's a bit of acting that comes with that in general. So you've already got a base of that.
True.
So
you're kind of already practicing that other craft as you're focusing on music, and you just push a little hard in that direction, and it's probably a smoother transition versus the other way, where if you're just acting and then one day say, hey, my agent thought it would be good if I put out a CD, so why not?
Exactly, like live performances, concerts, appearances, whatever. I'm sure that requires some amount of acting technique to a certain degree. So
yeah. Though the Lieutenant Dan band is still going strong. And Kevin Bacon, didn't he have one too?
Steve Martin.
Oh yeah, Steve Martin. Well, he straight up quit acting and just like picked up his banjo and
Yeah,
walked off
but
into the sunset.
he was a good banjo player before he became an actor. So
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, I believe, has a jazz band. He actually performed once in Fullerton, and I missed it. I'm super sad.
I have heard about that. He rocks on piano. I mean, really, Jeff Goldblum can do anything.
pretty
That's one of
much.
the ones that there is total crossover, and you're like,
Yeah.
that works no matter what
He
he
is
does.
one of those mystical beings that, he's
There's
just
always
allowed to
Jack
do
Black.
literally anything. Jack Black, sure. Yeah. One more thing about Black Widow, though, the news this week, the unfortunate news. So apparently there were headlines that due to Disney's mishandling of the release of the film, and we heard like months ago, like there were rumors and headlines about Kevin Feige fighting Disney over control of the release because he was really adamant to make it like this is a big MCU movie. This should be theatrical only, or at least theatrical only first, and then a later release to digital and streaming platforms or whatever, because they want that big box office money. Well, Disney went ahead and pushed it out as with their premiere on demand access, like the $30 if you want to watch it like day one and the theatrical day one. So then Scarlett Johansson's team now filed a lawsuit against them for saying they're in breach of contract. I guess specifically because having pushed that focus into their digital platform, it's pushing more marketing towards people staying at home and buying it there, whereas her contract stipulated she gets a certain payout plus percentages on how well the film does theatrically, like specifically box office numbers, nothing to do with the digital release. So basically it's shortchanging her proceeds.
Basically, it boils down to about $50 million on her salary that she's missing out because they chose to release it streaming rather than full box office, because all Hollywood contracts are based off of Hollywood, or are based off of the initial box offices.
Right.
They're usually never based off percentages. You never get streaming revenue or any of that. So they essentially cheated her. Well, I wouldn't say cheated her, but she lost out on 50 million worth of bonuses.
I feel like that has to be the new paradigm now, is moving forward, even after this whole COVID debacle, is streaming going to be something direct to streaming for services that have to be included in contracts, that have to be in the talk now? Because honestly, while it's nice to go to the theaters, some of them it's like, I just want to watch it home. I don't want to go out. I don't want to be in a crazy theater. I'll just watch it in my home.
But yeah, I bet that would definitely have to be clearly laid out to begin with for the contracts. Like, hey, if a percentage of my check, of my income counts on how well the film does, then it needs to be specifically said that, how well it does theatrically and digitally,
across the board.
Right. Yeah.
Agree.
So they're accusing that basically Disney of shortchanging them by diverting those funds towards, the focus on streaming. And I don't know if it's just rumor and hearsay or if it's confirmed, but apparently now it's been said that Emma Stone's people are now considering a similar action for Cruella.
I wonder. Yeah.
We'll see. Whatever. Have anything else nothing for Marvel stuff? Oh, I saw a cool thing today. Kevin Smith was on Twitter early this morning, like 5 a.m. He was out for his healthy walk around the block or wherever he is in LA somewhere. So he was all out of breath, but he was making a little Twitter video saying that tomorrow, Monday, is his 51st birthday. And on that day, they're going to start filming on Clerks 3. So they
I saw that. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, I seem really excited about it. I think he did a Facebook post a week or so back where they had their first script run through, and most of the cast was there. Rosario Dawson couldn't make it; she was elsewhere. But they had most of the cast there. Brian O'Halloran and Jeff Anderson. Randall. And of course Jason Mewes, because he's attached to Kevin Smith's hip.
Are they gonna bring back that young kid from movies? I hope. I don't
Yes,
know
yes.
his name, but
Yeah, Elias.
yes,
I don't remember the actor's name, but yeah.
I hope.
Mr. Pillow Pants.
Yeah. I don't Now here's a funny story. I don't remember the real people's names, the actors' names, but that guy then went on to get together and marry the actress from all the way back from Mallrats, who was Trish the Dish, the young girl who was like doing the sex studies and writing the book about
shit.
men.
Okay.
Yeah. So Trish the
Wow.
Dish married Elias, the dork from from movies.
They should do a
Finally
Mallrats
got laid.
crossover and put that in there. That'd be amazing.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. Like out of all the ones that, like the Clerks ones, I think because they're so personal to Kevin Smith, like he puts most of himself in those. I think that's why those ones work better than a lot of the other stuff. So.
My favorite of his, I think, will always be Dogma, but I can't really see that being expanded upon. It was good in what it is, and I honestly don't really want any more. Like it's good. That should be it. So
Yeah.
Fun fact, you can't actually buy Dogma or stream it right now. The rights are so jacked up to that you cannot purchase it in any media form at all.
I still have.
I kept my DVDs.
Yep, still got the special edition DVD.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Let's see. Oh, I resisted for the week because I didn't want to get spoiled for anything, but then I finally caved and watched it like an hour ago. The new Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer.
Ugh.
Did you catch that?
Haven't seen it yet.
Okay. Doesn't really spoil much of the movie. Like you see what you expect to see. But there is a fun, like split-second little cameo
Right at the end of the trailer.
very end of the trailer. Does anybody here care if I say it?
No,
I've
I'll probably
already
watch
seen
it
it.
after this.
Okay.
So.
Somebody, I'm assuming like the young kids who are the main focus of the film, or Paul Rudd, who's like their science teacher or something like that, who joins in on the adventure and the fun. It all takes place in this like small town, like Midwest place or something. But ghost shit starts happening and et cetera, et cetera. And somebody makes a call to it's all zoomed in to like a big red phone on a counter, and you can kind of see the backdrop of like it's nighttime, the shop's closed down, it looks like comics and books or whatever, some little novelty shop. But an older gentleman's hand picks up the ringing phone and just hear this very Bill Murray, "We're closed."
Of course it's going to be Bill Murray because he has nothing else going on and he goes to everything.
Yeah.
He will say yes to anything.
Yeah. Well, all the surviving original Ghostbusters are back. We do catch a bit of Annie Potts. Yeah, in the trailer there. And I know Sigourney Weaver is attached as well. Is
Rick Moranis coming back for this one? I heard he was coming back for something. I'm hoping.
Don't believe he is. I think he's the one who's not.
I haven't heard that he's attached to this, but I know he is returning to acting in general because his kids are older now and they're
self-sufficient.
Yeah.
I remember hearing an interview with him a while back, and he was like, "Well, I didn't really retire ever." He kind of like kicked the door, he squeaked the door open again, but obviously he left, for family reasons and everything. But yeah, that'd be cool to see him do something.
Mm-hmm. I've always really enjoyed his performances, so that'd be cool to see him back doing something.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of Paul Rudd, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania has begun filming this past week. The director, Peyton Reed, he announced that principal photography officially started the other day, and he celebrated it with a little Instagram post of I don't know if you can see it in here, or maybe I'll put it in the chat room. It's the disturbing little rabbit toy that he gave his daughter.
So ugly. I love it.
Yeah, it's so ugly. Yeah. So that's cool. Haven't really heard anything. They kept the story pretty under wraps there, other than we know that Kang is, of course, a part of it.
Yeah. I'm really excited for this whole new venture and this whole new, expansion. 'Cause, like, Loki really did it for me. Like, they really got their hooks in me with this whole multiverse thing. I was watching Doctor Strange today, funny enough, and the multiverse is even referenced in that, way ahead of time. So,
Yeah.
like, I think they can do a lot with this. I'm really excited.
Strange, even in his earliest days, Strange has always been a major part of multiversal, like all of that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, and that is the one thing that we can actually confirm, not rumors or hearsay or wishful thinking. Strange will appear in Spider-Man No Way Home. There was a blurry Twitter photo from the set. I think it showed up today, actually. And you
they
can
did.
see.
They already released toys from the movie a couple of months ago that
Oh, okay.
had Strange. So,
Yeah, there was a little like a street level photo. It looked like Strange, in his full gear and everything. He was standing like right outside the New York Sanctum, yeah, and Spider-Man's just like he's on top of like a fire truck or something, just chatting with him. Yeah.
Here's to hoping that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are right around the corner. They're just hiding.
All the Spider-Mans.
Yep.
So there was a rumor came out that Kevin Feige is keeping a close eye and in constant contact with Alfred Molina, so he shuts the fuck up.
So he doesn't spoil anything else.
He is coming back as Doc Ock, right? Do I remember that correctly? Yeah. So
yeah, he flat out just blurted it out in an interview, like they were still trying to keep everything under wraps.
Because with J.K. Simmons and Jonah, and then him as Doc Ock, I mean, it's a lot of that classic cast too. So
yeah. Molina was funny about it too. He was just like joking with the interviewer about how he's like, oh yeah, I'm old and fat, so they put me in the green screen, and the octo arms, they do most of the work anyway. I just have to go. So sounds like we'll get at least a little bit of good Doc Ock action.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. This is kind of a big one in the world of horror. They already announced at least a couple months back that an Exorcist reboot was on the way, to which I was kind of like, well, do they really need that? Because like there's so many exorcism movies now that just mimic the original Exorcist movie. It's like we've seen it 1,000 times already. But apparently the people behind this are the exact same people that are behind the new Halloween trilogy with Michael Myers. David Gordon Green and Blumhouse, they're doing pretty much the same thing they're doing with the Halloween franchise. They're kind of retelling it in a new trilogy. And
it's going to be a trilogy, right? The Exorcist as well?
They're doing the same thing with the Exorcist reboot. So they announced it's going to be a trilogy of new films. And in fact, they're bringing back Ellen Burstyn, who was the mom of young Nancy Reagan in the or Reagan, what was her name? Reagan.
I forget.
Nancy Reagan. Reagan was the
Lady Nancy Reagan? No way.
Yes. Nancy Reagan is going to be in the film.
Her husband was the famous actor. So
yeah, that's right. Reagan was the name of the daughter. Who got possessed. I don't remember their last name, but anyway, the mother, played by Ellen Burstyn, she is actually going to be back for this new trilogy, or at least the first film they've announced. And I guess they're investing pretty heavily, or at least Universal believes in it, because they dropped $400 million for the rights, like straight out. They're like, we want it, grabbing it. So yeah, we'll see. What else?
So there was a bit of Lucasfilm news that was interesting to me this week.
Yeah.
So there, we've all seen the Luke, the Leia, and the Tarkin CG cameos in the past few, the Mandalorian and then Rogue One.
I heard about that.
So there's a YouTuber that does deep fakes of different things, and he did deep fakes of all three of these Luke, Leia, and the Tarkin cameos, and they looked so much better than the CG that came out in the actual final products. Lucasfilm hired him instead of sending him DCMAs, instead of suing him and all that good stuff. They just hired him.
That's rad. That's
That's
awesome.
smart, honestly. Like if you can't,
Yeah, I just a little while ago I saw the one for Tarkin, and I was like, oh my god, that's so much better. It looks so much more like him. Yeah, it's because they had in where he appears. I mean, he's completely CG in Rogue One, because of course he was in A New Hope. He was basically running the Death Star, and what was Peter Cushing? He was much older when A New Hope came out or when they filmed it, and he was looked a bit gaunt. But the computer generated version of him in Rogue One looked all right, but you could still tell it felt a bit cartoonish. And compared to this guy's touched up, his version, the YouTuber guy doing the deep fake or his version of Tarkin cleaned up, it looks so much more realistic. He's not, you look at the original one from Rogue One that was released, and it's like, oh, he looks like so emaciated. He looks like the Crypt Keeper. Like this one, he looks more natural, just an older, thinner gentleman. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Good on you, Lucasfilm. Not like Nintendo and some other companies that just can't wait to slap DCMAs on any fan projects out there and
as quickly as they can.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing that right now. There's a big uproar in the Warhammer community because Games Workshop has always been sort of a shitty company when it comes to fan projects and stuff like that. They were known for being very heavily litigious in the 90s. And as their stuff has sort of made a resurgence in the last like 5 to 6 years, this week they're doing the same shit that they did back in the 90s. They updated their terms and they said you cannot do fan projects, you cannot do any of this stuff that uses our generals and our characters, and you can't do fan arts and stuff like that. And so the entire community is in an uproar. It's like, we've been doing this shit for decades, and now you're going to start suing people over fan art and stories. Come on.
That's dumb.
Aren't Games Workshops open like one day a week anyway? Like,
I've never really been a tabletop person, but those stores are closed more than they're open, I've seen.
Right?
Yeah. Have these companies ever heard of conventions? Because like Comic-Con, WonderCon, literally everywhere, like you go to like the Artist Alley and there's just rows and rows and rows of people there just pimping out fan art. Like, why doesn't all these companies, like Disney, Nintendo, whatever, when they kick down the doors of Comic-Con and be like, you're sued.
One of the first conventions I ever heard about was Gen Con, which I thought was a miniature convention, if I'm not mistaken, that focused on tabletop like Warhammer. So I'm wondering if this is something like, and Todd, you might know, like they've done consecutively, or is it something they're just now cracking down on or something? Because like tabletop gaming has been, I mean, maybe there is a resurgence. I think it got slow for a while, but has always been around and always had a decent fan base.
Yeah. Warhammer in general, 40K in particular, has always had a good size fan base, but the Games Workshop was struggling in the late 90s, early 2000s, on the verge of bankruptcy a couple of times actually, but lately, due to the popularity of tabletop gaming in general coming back and the popularity of fantasy, and they've launched a new Age of Sigmar, which is an early fantasy, they definitely have been more popular than they were in some years past, but it's definitely slowing down now thanks to them being douchebags again.
For the listeners at home, Meg is gushing over
Shadow 2.
He lets me hold him like a baby, and it's adorable. You guys can't, you probably can't hear him purring, but he's purring.
No.
Oh,
Oh, he's gone now.
bye.
And Meg has lost interest. Back to the phone.
Speaking of speaking of gaming, I have one little bit of gaming news. The creator of Stardew Valley announced that he is working on a new project, some new super secret thing. He has not said what. But of course,
It's a new avocado toast recipe.
Well, I heard it was actually, and unless I'm thinking of the wrong developer, but there's this new system out that's going to be like this tiny little Game Boy-esque thing with like a gear or something you turn, and that's what he's making it for. So I
What?
don't know exactly, what it entails, but I'm pretty sure it's for this odd little. Let me see if I can find it, and I'll.
It's a gear boy.
Not quite.
you go all steampunk, and it's like a steampunk Game Boy that you have to wind up or crank up. Eric Barone, that's the guy's name. Creator
Also
of
known
Stardew.
as Concerned Ape is his handle that most people know him by.
Yeah. Is planning on sharing the first official details in the quote somewhat near future. Yeah.
And that man is still dedicated to putting out patches and updates for Stardew, which
Yeah, they
is
had that
really
He's a
fucking
solid
amazing.
dude.
the giant like 1.5 update that Meg started playing that was just earlier this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Last year.
Oh, last year? Oh,
Pretty
okay.
recently, I want to say.
All right.
He puts out a big update, I would say every 3 to 6 months.
Okay. Back in the world of TV, Todd, you brought something batshit crazy to my attention that I did not see coming. Do you remember what that was? You sent me
I don't remember.
Waterworld, the
Oh.
TV show.
Oh yeah. So apparently this is a thing that's being shopped around. I looked a little bit more into it, and it's not been officially picked up by anybody right now. It's just being shopped around.
Oh.
So
Producers, I think it's these are the original producers. John Davis and John Fox planning a show that would follow the characters from the 95 movie 20 years later. So it's not just like a fresh reboot, which is what I would assume. They're actually, I wonder, are they hoping to snag Kevin Costner for this, or they'll probably just hire some actress to play the young girl grown up, I'm guessing, and follow her story, maybe.
probably. And I don't think Costner is available. Like, I think Yellowstone is still going on. I don't think that's been canceled yet.
Oh,
Is that his show? Is that an Amazon show, or
No, it's a random network that I can't remember on the upper cable channels.
Stars, I think. I want to say Stars.
No, it's not. Let's
Yeah.
see, what the hell?
Okay,
Dan-
good. Oh, sorry.
Paramount Network.
Oh, Paramount. All right. Dan Trachtenberg is attached to direct. He's
Is that
good.
Michelle's brother?
I don't know. The first time I heard his name was 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is amazing.
Oh.
And I know he's done more stuff since then, but that's the one that I hear that name that screams out 10 Cloverfield Lane to me.
All right, guys, I found it. So if
Yeah.
you get a chance, look up what is called the Playdate console and tell me what you think.
Playdate?
Playdate. Playdate, one word.
That sounds like
Hey,
a little like My Little First Console or something.
I mean, take a look and tell me what you think.
like the Easy Bake Oven of Game Boys.
it's a little retro looking,
Yeah.
but it's
Apparently,
got a
like,
crank.
if you-
Why does it have a crank?
I don't know.
You
But
know,
if you
LCD
buy it,
screen.
you're guaranteed, I think, 2 games a month for like the first year or something like that, or for a while. So you're getting consistent games, but yeah, like
Wow. Collider article from just 12 hours ago. Playdate handheld console sold over 20,000 units in under 20 minutes.
there you go.
All right. I don't see the appeal, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be.
You want to play? You don't want to play Game and Watch?
I'm good. I'm okay. I'm
That's-
not that obsessed with the retro just for retro's sake.
So I don't know if this is the one that was it Gaming Ape is going to be doing
Concerned Ape.
Concerned Ape, yeah.
Concerned
Or
Ape,
maybe I got the name wrong, but yeah,
It
looks.
seems right up his alley. He would make something for that, I would think.
All right. Okie dokie.
Yeah.
Let's-
In other bonkers TV news, you brought this one to my attention, Tony.
uh-huh.
The creators of South Park are trying to buy the Casa Bonita restaurant.
Yes. Now, when they first talked about that in the show, I mean, I think they've had several episodes where it's popped up. But I didn't know it was an actual restaurant, but apparently it is a Colorado mainstay. Lakewood, Colorado. Casa Bonita Mexican restaurant, opened in 1974.
Oh, wow. It's that old?
Has an arcade, an indoor cave and waterfall with cliff divers. But I guess apparently its future is kind of unclear. They closed down during the pandemic last year, and the parent company that owns the place filed for Chapter 11 earlier this year. So I think that's part of it. Like Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they wanted to buy it out from them and try to revitalize it. There was bits of an interview I saw where they were saying it, like even before the pandemic happened and they shut down, they felt like it was getting really run down and needed some revitalizing. So it's their dream to make it happen, to buy it and just inject some life into it again.
Get it going, yeah.
I think it would be great if they just kept it exactly the same. But I mean, I've never been there, but the way they're describing it and the way they've showcased it in episodes of the show, like it'd be hilarious if they just put Cartman, like injected him in there throughout the restaurant. Like everything stays the same, just add Cartman, kind of like they added Johnny Depp to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride, just like inject him in there in little moments.
Put a cardboard cutout here and there just to have his presence.
Yeah. Cartman saying random shit as you're like eating your quesadilla. Yeah. That's
Maybe
fine.
expand the franchise too. I'd go to a Casa Bonita out here. That sounds very interesting. At least, check it out.
Be interested. It's in Colorado. Now I wonder like how authentic is it really?
Oh, probably not. It's got to be like the whitest of white boy Mexican foods. So you would enjoy it, Tony.
There was a post from, I think it was K-Rock, the other day on like Facebook and Instagram, and it said like, annoy a Southern Californian in 5 words or less. So I said, rice in my burrito, please.
Hey, Chipotle does it.
Yeah.
That's not Mexican food.
No.
Yeah.
Nah.
That's some San Francisco shit right there.
Yeah. I need my San Diego. I need my carne asada fries. Just a mountain of meat and cheese and guac and deliciousness, and just pump it into my veins. Anyway. Oh, here's a weird one. I didn't even know this existed, and thankfully it sounds like it's not going to exist. There was a Die Hard prequel in the works, just titled McClane, and apparently has now been killed by Disney.
Couldn't be any worse than the last 2 movies.
I guess with since Disney acquired Fox in 2019, basically the project just fizzled out and died. But yeah, yeah, I love Die Hard, but that last one was one too many. I don't think they're going to improve anything by having, and as the prequel, they're just going to have some young dude, like some young pretty boy, pretend like doing his best Bruce Willis impersonation. Like I don't know how that's going to work.
Maybe they'll get Joseph Gordon-Levitt again. They can put the whole makeup on him. They've already tried it once. Get that going,
I have never seen that movie, but just the trailer and the TV spots creeped me out. What the hell was that? Like, he looked like he was wearing chola makeup with like really thin eyebrows, like painted on.
if I remember the story right, they wanted to get these two actors and they wanted to work out some way to make them look like each other, but in true Bruce Willis fashion, no, I'm just gonna do I'm gonna do me. So it literally went all onto Joseph Gordon-Levitt's shoulders, like, we need to make you look like Bruce Willis, since he's not gonna do, it's cop out all over again. So yeah, so then they put that probably a ton of makeup and prosthetics and stuff on him to make him look as much of a young Bruce Willis as possible. And there you have it.
Okay, so the deep fake guy who now works at Lucasfilm, he's got to come out with an edit of that movie because, oh god, that's bad. Oh man. Oh, there was a little snippet of an interview with James Gunn this week, talking about the progress with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which of course it's officially titled Volume 3.
There's going to be the Christmas special as well, right?
The holiday special, yeah. He was touching on that and saying that I forget, in so many words, he said, like, it's not a short film or like, a made for TV movie. He said, it is a holiday special. So I'm wondering, and I'm kind of giddy, that makes me think, like, is it going to be like straight up like Star Wars, the holiday special? Like it's going to be like goofy, like silly musical performances and shit and little skits. But I mean, he's being very tight-lipped about it. But what he did say is that it is in fact required viewing. Like it exists in MCU canon, and you will need to watch it before you watch Volume 3 to know like where the characters are going.
Exactly. So, I'm excited. I mean,
maybe Peter Quill's holiday wish is for Gamora to get her memories back or something. And so they have to travel somewhere to make it happen, or go visit the Wookiees on Life Day. That'd be great. Here's a fun one. Not really comic book geek related or anything, but I think I love it. It's funny as hell. Meg and I love this show, AP Bio. Have you ever watched it?
I tried to, because I really like Glenn Howerton as Dennis from Always Sunny. Like, Always Sunny is my favorite shows, and so I really wanted to see it translated. It seems like it's almost just Dennis in a high school instead. So I haven't given as good of a shot as I want to, but I still want to watch it one of these days because I think I heard the news you're about to report on. So let's go ahead.
Yeah, it's fun. It really grew on me pretty fast. I mean, like you said, he's basically Dennis as a high school teacher, but a little more. He's more of like an academic and a professional, and so it's him begrudgingly being at this high school for plot reasons, whatever. He ends up there in I forget what town it takes place, somewhere in Midwest or whatever, but he hates being there. But the kids are amazing. The kids actors, they're supposed to be like late high school, but of course they're like anywhere between 18 to early 20s or whatever. But
it's Hollywood teenagers.
Yeah, right. But they are hilarious, and it's funny how like they start off. It's AP Bio, so it's the advanced biology class that he's mainly in, and so at first like they're like dealing with this like asshole of a teacher, and they're like, what do we do? Like, we're not even learning anymore. But eventually they end up joining forces, like, because he's just so charismatic, and he's Dennis. So, eventually they end up it's kind of like Always Sunny. It's just like, okay, they're helping him out of whatever schemes he's doing this week. And
he Dennis the kids. He Dennis those kids.
He Dennis the shit out of those kids. Yeah. But anyway, so they're about to release season 4, or they're working on season 4 right now. And the headline this past week is that none other than Bruce motherfucking Campbell is joining this season as his dad. So that is bound to be fun.
That gives you more incentive to really watch those seasons now and catch up. So
yeah, that's good. The only annoying part, though, it started off on regular NBC. And then after season 2, they were kind of up in the air about being canceled. And instead, thankfully, they saved the show, but NBC put it on their streaming service, Peacock. So seasons 3 and 4 now, I'm sure probably all the seasons are on there now, but they're exclusively on Peacock, which I think some of the episodes are free, but probably for the newest season, you'll have to get the trial subscription or something.
Yeah.
that's kind of what we did. Like we did the 1 week trial and then just watched the third season really fast as it premiered. Yeah. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's a good, fun, like little 30-minute wacky show.
There you go.
Yeah. And speaking of wacky, I think one of my last things here, this is another project I did not even know was happening. Apparently Taika has had in his back pocket for a while. He's been slowly trying to get a Flash Gordon movie made. And it was originally supposed to be an animated film, but now there are reports that it's actually going to be live action, just a full-blown Flash Gordon reboot. So, and the same producers from that Waterworld project, John Davis and John Fox, are producing this film. So I guess along with Taika writing and I'm assuming going to be directing as well.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah. Have you ever seen the Flash Gordon?
I've been tempted to, but never actually had an opportunity. I know the song, and that's about it. And the general Flash.
It is bonkers 70s sci-fi. It is worth your time. At least one viewing. Like it's just so bananas.
I've seen it referenced so many times of like him on the scooter traveling through space and like,
it's like a space treadmill. It's ridiculous.
Space. What are those one self-driving things called? I can't think of it right now. They balance for you and shit.
Oh shit.
Oh, segways.
Yeah, thank you. The space Segway.
Kind of like a space Segway, yeah. It's basically it. And the Hawkmen and with their laser rifles, it's just straight up bananas. It's fantastic. If I remember right, I think Timothy Dalton is in that.
Really?
I think so, yeah.
He is, yeah. He's not one of the Hawkmen. He's some other group or alien tribe or something. But yeah, super young Timothy Dalton before his Bond days in the 80s.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, like Family Guy referenced it a bunch of times. He was, I think the actor was on Ted 2 even or something like that.
Yeah.
You saw that? Yeah. So
yeah, he made cameos. Ted used to Ted references him a lot, so
yeah,
it was like a dream sequence or something.
At a party, I forget. I watched that movie once. But
I don't think I ever saw the second one.
I haven't
Ted.
seen the second one either.
Anyway.
Yep.
I think that might be all I got, guys. I don't know. We might have to eventually get around to reviewing stuff again. But we'll get around to Twister if we have time. But
Billy, I'm sorry, Billy.
Oh, Twister, do we forget about you over there? I'm sorry, Twister. You came all this way.
oh my God! So I shit you not. I'll even show you on my phone. So we were joking about that last week about how like Twister is the new like Lindsey Buckingham, and I was like looking for a podcast to listen to. Just because I've got my ones that I'm subscribed and regularly download. And just a few days ago, the 29th, Mark Maron's What the Fuck podcast. Who is he interviewing? But Lindsey fucking Buckingham.
Finally gets their they finally get their opportunity.
Yep. It's finally gonna get to talk.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I tried looking for more gaming stuff, but I hadn't really seen gaming adjacent. Apparently Netflix is working on a Pokemon live action show. Yes, in the same spirit of Detective Pikachu. Although
somebody finally hire Hector.
Yeah. Yeah. I gotta imagine, I mean, with that amount of CG, if they're doing that like live action CG combo, that's gotta be a pretty expensive show to produce.
I mean, it's a pretty big franchise, though. If anyone can afford it, it's probably Netflix. And if it gets enough viewers, because you can get the kids, you can get the adults with nostalgia. So I enjoyed Detective Pikachu, honestly.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed it.
One of my favorite scenes is the Mr. Mime scene, which is like honestly super dark and a little bit more on the adult side of that movie. So
yep.
You never know.
I forget. He like mime out. He's like getting shot and like dying in slow motion or something.
Close. They actually tie him up and threaten to catch him on fire by dousing him in gasoline. So, yeah. because he won't tell them something. So he like, mimes splashing him, and he's like there like begging for his life as he's like lighting off matches about to burn him to death. So
I wonder if that was Ryan Reynolds convincing them, like, hey, can I just improvise something and just let me know if it works? Like, yeah, that's funny. And I think this is more rumor mill at this point, but possibly Netflix also developing a live action Final Fantasy series.
Yeah, I think that is more real than rumor.
Oh yeah.
Because Netflix, they made a concerted effort about a year ago or 2 years ago to purchase a lot of video game rights, like a fuck ton of video game rights. They've already had a Dota anime. They're coming out with a League of Legends anime. They are going heavily into anime and video game adaptations. So.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy is resurging right now. There's a huge popularity spike in the Final Fantasy MMO. They just released all of the classic pixel games on Steam.
Oh yeah,
Sega got remade. So
yeah.
Yeah, so Final Fantasy is a huge spike in popularity right now.
Yeah.
interesting, because they're still doing the live action Cowboy Bebop, right? I mean, not really video game related, but in the same kind of vein. That's still going through.
That's done and coming out sometime this year, at the end of the year.
Probably, yeah. It should be coming fairly soon. I'm excited for that. I'm cautiously optimistic for that. I mean, Cowboy Bebop, that's the pinnacle of anime for me. So, and a lot of people. So,
I'm still a Lupin, but Cowboy Bebop is up there.
I still have to get around to Lupin. I have not watched Lupin.
Aren't they doing
just don't watch the first like 2 or 3 seasons. They're really fucking dated. Like, not just dated in an animation way, dated as in, they are very 70s in.
Oh, it's 70s, yeah.
It's 70s Japan, so they are very. I'm just gonna say they're fucking sexist as all hell.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Did I see that Lupin's getting actually like some sort of like redo where it's like computer animated and like?
So that was a Japanese film that came out last year. It was the very CG Lupin, but it looked good. I have not seen it yet, but the trailers look pretty good. It was a 3D CG version.
It looked pretty clean. So
there's also the Arsene Lupin, which is more the story rather than the anime. That's on Netflix, and that's pretty good. I've watched a couple of episodes of that, and it's pretty good.
I saw the first one. I enjoyed that. That's the one with the Louvre, right? Where he breaks in there. Yeah, that was enjoyable.
Yeah. Todd, you'll be happy to know that I finally checked out that trailer for Jackass Forever. That is painful to watch, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I chuckled a few times, but most of the time it's just like, oh God, no, why?
That's what you say the entire time you're watching that is why?
Yeah.
I caught the Green Knight this weekend, and that was before that. So
how was that? I've been curious. I haven't seen the full trailer for it, just like quick TV spots, but it's like an old fantasy story.
It's an Arthurian tale, so very much in the realm of King Arthur and the Sword in the Stone, and being blessed from the water by given a sword to rule, sort of thing.
Another thing Games Workshop steals, by the way, is they incorporate the Green Knight into their games as well, into the Bretonnian faction. But sorry, go ahead.
No problem. Being unfamiliar with the epic poem myself, I kind of went in not knowing a whole lot. I mean, it's beautifully shot. Acting is really well done. It's very much one of those stories. You can tell it's from old school with the fantasy in it and kind of the way they do things. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was not necessarily what I thought it was going to be, but it's worth a watch. It again shot beautifully. The scenery and stuff is great. The acting, Dev Patel, I think, did a great job as Sir Gawain. So really cool.
He, I know I've seen him in other stuff too, and I've enjoyed him. But just recently, Meg and I watched him as Prince Zuko in the live action Avatar: The Last Airbender movie.
Probably the only saving grace in that movie, honestly, if there is one.
Oh boy, that was rough.
The movie in general, or anything specific?
Yeah, the whole movie in general, that was very, very rough. I mean, we've talked on the podcast before. Meg and I fell hard for the series, Last Airbender, Avatar, and Korra, Legend of Korra. And our friend Shannon, different Shannon, is a huge fan too. So her and her daughter came over, and they convinced us to, just for the sheer entertainment factor, just the brutal entertainment, like how you go in to watch The Room. Like you have to at least experience the live action Avatar movie one time, and it will definitely stay one time. That was more than enough.
No desire to ever watch that again in any way, shape, or form. Sadly.
Yeah, that was oof. If you want to hurt yourself, watch Avatar, M. Night Shyamalan's the last Airbender movie. I haven't heard anything yet about his new one, Old, where the creepy beach that time is wacky and like your kids turn ancient like within a few hours or something.
Every half an hour is like an hour of your, or a year of your life or something like that, I think is. Me neither.
I sat through Signs. I'm never gonna sit through another M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Really, Signs is one of the few that I actually really enjoy. Like Signs is probably my favorite one from him.
All of that, and it's the water that fucking kills them. Come on.
Well, isn't that the same thing from War of the Worlds, like the original Orson Welles? It's or not Orson Welles.
It's just
Wells.
It's the parasites in our
bacteria.
Bacteria. They don't have that on Mars.
Here's one thing about Signs that I heard that really kind of changed it for me, Todd. So I don't know if this would be worth a rewatch, but if you rewatch it and instead of aliens, they're demons, if you can put like that juxtaposition in your head, because I guess supposedly he either wanted that to be the original and got talked out of it by the studio, or just wanted it to be more of an underlying theme instead. It makes a little bit more of a compelling story, a little more sense overall to the actual movie itself. So just FYI.
I need to go back. It's been several years. I need to go back and watch it, see if it's still, because last time I checked, it still creeps the hell out of me. Like if you're watching that, especially under the right conditions, like turn all the lights off late night, and then you start wondering about like what's up in the skies or what has already come to visit.
I'll never forget, that's still one of my the jump scare I'll remember the most, when Joaquin Phoenix is like watching something and someone walks by and I was in the theater like,
yeah. And then of course they did the stupid version of it, the parody version in like Scary Movie 3, I think it was. And it's some guy in like a shitty like Party City gray alien costume, and he just like casually strolls by with his big wave, and it's so stupid.
So dumb.
So now I can't separate that in my mind. Like I try to think of the scary version, and I just see the stupid Scary Movie version. Well, guys, anything else?
Is that it?
No, I was just scrolling through my news list, and I think we covered pretty much everything.
Yep. Oh, there was an Archer trailer, season 12 trailer for Archer, where apparently the gang is fighting climate change this season, and D&D nerds.
I want to know what they're going to do without Jessica Walter, sadly. She just passed, I think, before this one was made, I'm guessing. So it's just like she was such a good part of that show. Yeah, actually, there is a quick bit towards the end of the trailer where she is in it, and it does sound like her. And I think the article I read said that it looks like she at least voiced the character for some of the season. I don't know if she completed the season or maybe it was just a small bit. I don't know. Guess we'll see.
Yeah, don't know if they replace her or if they acknowledge who knows if maybe they kill the character.
We didn't even talk about Bob Odenkirk.
Oh shit, he had a
fucking heart attack on the set of Better Call Saul.
Oh man. Oof. I remember seeing as soon as I saw the news, I saw a follow-up that his brother said guys, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, that came about 12 hours later after the fact.
Yeah.
But the internet was freaking the fuck out. Like I saw it across all platforms like Twitter, Reddit, Facebook even. Like
Not
Facebook,
Bob.
not Bob. That was one thing that brought everybody together. It's like, not fucking Bob.
Not Bobby. No.
Do you guys watch?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you guys, I don't know, do you watch? I Think You Should Leave on Netflix, by any chance?
The name sounds familiar, but I haven't caught it.
This is another one I'm going to recommend to you guys. It's by an old SNL alum. I think Tim Robinson is one of like the head writers and kind of the showrunner of that show. And there's a scene with Bob Odenkirk in the latest season that is just really good. It's pretty funny, and overall that series is great. But I was really happy with that sketch.
Tim Robinson. I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I mean, Bob Odenkirk, he's had quite a renaissance. I mean, for a while now, ever since Better Call Saul. Well, even before that with Breaking
he
Bad.
was on Breaking Bad. So
yeah, I mean, he's had a long career before that, but I think as far as like big success, where like, I mean, everybody knows Better Call Saul now, and
well, he was a writer more than he was an actor. Like he was a writer on SNL for so many years. He was a writer, I think, for Letterman for a couple of years. He's done a bunch of shit.
Yeah, I mean, he was more a comedian. He did the Mr. Show stuff with David Cross way back in the day. And then I think it was, well, I don't know if he did anything else before that, but Breaking Bad seemed to be where he turned to dramatic stuff. And everybody was like, holy shit, what an amazing dramatic actor. And I really want to see that movie he was in this year, Nobody, where
it looks interesting.
I heard
his version of John Wick, basically.
Yeah, I heard great things about it. He's Christopher Lloyd is in it too. But yeah, I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but I guess it's very relatable because he's not a super assassin like John Wick. Like it's more of like the everyday man getting the shit beat out of him, but he just keeps on going. And so it's like you root for him more. And it sounds like a lot of fun. But I don't think it's free anywhere yet. I think it's, you can probably, it's like digital rental right now, like $5 or something, but definitely on my list to get around to.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Thank you everybody for joining another Getting Off Topic podcast. We will raise a glass to Rachel Weisz and the many hotties of The Mummy 1999. Live on forever. Oh, another one I still have to get around to. My sister's been hounding me about Doom Patrol. That's the one where with Brendan Fraser, isn't it? Well, I think he's just voicing like the big robot dude or whatever. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that. Anyway, okay, guys, thank you for joining. This is Tony.
This is Todd.
This was Andrew.
And
Meg.
Meg's left the building. So.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Adios.